mention is that the press, the first 100 days of the Trump administration of the press has covered itself in shame. They have disgraced themselves. If it were possible to disgrace themselves, in order to disgrace yourself, you have to have some grace. The press, the media basically threw away all its grace, all its credibility, not covering the scandals of the Obama administration, not giving Obama a fair coverage, but basically hagiographizing him, turning him into a saint. And now they've just unleashed against Trump in a way that it just makes them, they're liars. They're just liars. It's constant lying. If you don't believe me, I have to play this. This is CBS. This is a news story, okay? Trump came out with his tax reform plan, and it's very, very difficult to parse how tax reform is going to play out. You know, it really takes a lot of mathematics to figure out who's going to be affected how, and things don't go the way you seem. The New York Times headline, which they later changed as they always do, they disappear their headlines, but their first headline was something like, I'm talking from memory, but it was, Trump issues new tax reform plan that will help the wealthiest. That's what it'll do. Here is CBS, this guy, Scott Pelley, or Ted Baxter, as I call him, from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Scott Pelley, this is his lead-in, and this is not an editorial. This is his lead-in to Trump's tax reform.
Today, the Trump administration rushed out a plan for historic tax cuts, high on hyperbole, but with only a dollop of detail. The list of aspirations looked more like an attempt to beat the 100-day mark in the Trump presidency rather than a serious proposal to reform the tax code. On paper, everyone's in for a break. Personal income taxes, corporate taxes, savings for the rich and the dead. But nothing on how to implement it or pay for it. Far from legislation, the president's bullet points today were loaded into a starting gun that signals the beginning of a race of lobbyists and special interests to rewrite America's 70,000-page tax code.
Wow. I mean, it's like, hey, Scott, nobody asked your opinion. It's like, report the news. People are turning these people on to get the news. Scott Pelley is betraying him. And the thing is, the guy is Ted Baxter. He's got the silver hair. He's got the deep voice. He's an idiot. I just got to replay this cut of Ted Baxter from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the classic Scott Pelley newsman.
Dateline, Washington. The Gatewater case is in the news. Make that the case Watergate. And my incredible sources tell me exclusively that we'll continue to keep our eye on the latest developments there. Elsewhere around the nation, more weather heading our way, and some especially good news for residents of our area. Despite the tornado watch and severe hurricane warning, today's pollution index was only 6. That's 6, of course. 6 is on a scale of 1 to 7, and that's the same type of scale we use at home, at our Baxters at home, when we're back on our Weight Watchers. Speaking of the trouble in South America, here's a special report via satellite from special correspondent Muck Racker. Muck?
That's Scott Pelley or Ted Baxter. You never see the two of them together at the same time, so they may be the same person. This, by the way, this stuff with Trump is the total opposite of the way Obama was greeted during his first 100 days. John Hayward at Breitbart lists the ways. It's worth taking a look. Time magazine dubbed the Obama administration a historic presidency at the top of its 100-day special. Coverage then brought in Joe Klein to declare Obama's start the most impressive of any president since FDR. Mark Halperin gushed that Obama was instantly comfortable and highly skilled at the hardest job in the world. Halperin faulted Obama only for a handful of public missteps. Comparisons to FDR were ubiquitous in Obama's 100 days coverage. So, Trump has been swimming upstream. I have said repeatedly that he is a man who learns things, which I think is really impressive. And I'm still willing to give him a chance. He is so much better than I feared he would be. I was wrong in my predictions of disaster, and I'm just delighted to say it. More to come, so we will find out if it really is